All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is March 5th. We got ourselves a Tuesday and a decent-sized NBA slate to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, we're going to go through each and every one of these games. We'll talk about it. I'll give you my lean on the spread. I'll give you my lean on the total. Talk about any player props that I like as well within the game. But as always, keep an eye on the pinned comment of this video. That's where all my final plays will live. If you do want to do the opposite and fade me, go right ahead. Last night was a man night. We go 2-2. Cashed our two favorite plays of the day. Nick Claxton under 10.5 boards and James Harden under 8.5 assists. The Claxton one with ease. The James Harden one we had to sweat out, but still, nonetheless, those were our two cashes. And then we just had the Bulls-Kings game pegged wrong. Alex Caruso over 14.5 PRA. He got the minutes, which is what I was worried about, but he only had 2 points, 3 rebounds, but 7 assists. So the PRA doesn't come through. And then that total, I think they finished at like 222, something like that. So we're a few points off there. But a 2-2 night, not going to absolutely kill us. But let's get in the green tonight. On the good news side of things, we do have a ride of the day, cashing 2 in a row from Lalo here. John Collins over 10.5 rebounds. It seemed like a lot of people were on it yesterday, which made me a little bit worried because it's like, it's like a public pick. He had 15 boards, so you know what? Pumping some crowd noise. That's 2 straight ride of the day cashes for Lalo. If you guys want to be the ride of the day in a future video, all you got to do is use hashtag ride of the day in the comments. I'm jumping on board with one person's pick in the comments, giving you a shout out in the next video if you get picked, win or loss. Also shouting you out on my social media over on Twitter at EvGuyBoston and on Instagram at EvPicks with a Z. You'll see those social medias pop up across the bottom left of your screen throughout the video, so make sure to go ahead and follow me there. And what we've started to do now is if someone hits the ride of the day, we ride with them again. So looking forward to seeing Lalo's comment in today's video. But guys, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. We are cruising towards 60,000 subscribers, which is crazy to say out loud. Help us get there. Hit that subscribe button and that like button, and let's get rocking and rolling here. We got the Charlotte Hornets taking on the Orlando Magic. Hornets at home here. Total sitting at 208.5. Spread Charlotte plus 8.5. In terms of my spread pick here, it is a big number to lay as Orlando, but I'm not really going to trust Charlotte, even though they've been decent against the spread as of late. And I say decent, but to this number, if in their last 10 games, if they were plus 8.5, they'd be 7-3 against the spread. So I give them a little bit of credit there, but this is an Orlando Magic team that is playing decent basketball. They've won 6 of their last 7 games. They've won 8 of their last 10, covered in 7 of their last 10. So I'm going to give the nod to what I believe truly is the better team here, even though Charlotte is playing better against the spread basketball than they've played pretty much all season long. But again, it's not the best spot because of that number being so high. Like if this was 5.5, 6.5, I'd be all over it. 8.5 becomes like I could see the Charlotte argument being made, and that's not always the best spot. In terms of the total here, I'm going to consider the under. I know Orlando has cashed the over to this number 3 of their last 4, but even still, if you look at where their defense is, it's playing really good, right? And then playing really good on the defensive end. Charlotte's offense is like, what are we doing here? Like they had that one game against Philly where they scored 114, but other than that, they've struggled in their last 6 games or so to even get to 100 points. So got to look at the under. Now, my favorite play in this game is probably going to be taking a peek at Paolo Banchero's over in points. 19.5 is the number that I'm looking at right now. He's hit that in 4 straight games against the Magic. He's hit in 14 of his last 20 games. That's 70%. He's hit in 6 of his last 10. Charlotte to power forwards over their last 7 games here as well have allowed, I believe it's like the 10th most or 11th most points to power forwards. So kind of in terms of skill level guarding that position, bottom third of the league. So we do like to see that there. Paolo Banchero over 19.5 points. I probably like that more than I do the total and the spread in this game, to be completely honest. All right, next up, we have Cleveland taking on the Celtics. Cleveland at home here. Celtics just playing really, really good basketball. But right now, Cleveland getting 7.5 points at home. Total sitting at 218.5. Like I said, Celtics kind of cruising. They've won multiple in a row. I believe it's like 11 in a row. They've covered 6 straight games. In their last 7, they're 6-0-1 against the spread. Cleveland, on the other hand, have been kind of rocky. They've had some injuries to deal with. They've been rocky, though, against the spread. Just 2-8 against the spread. They literally have lost against the spread in 8 of their last 10 games here. I don't think you step in front of the Celtics right now. I know that now they're on the road. They just had a road trip. This is a long. They have the Cavs. Then they go Denver, Portland Phoenix or Phoenix Portland, something like that. So yeah, that could be sort of a momentum killer, but why step in front of the Celtics right now, right? Like, I know the Cavs are a good team. I know that, they'll usually play them pretty tough, but again, why step in front of the Celtics? This team is absolutely rolling. The 140-88 win against the Warriors, a fairly healthy Warriors team, like, yeah, I'm not getting in front of the Celtics team. Give me them -7.5. Total at 218.5. I just can't fathom them not scoring 115, right? So I'm going to lean towards the over in this spot as well. And then from a player prop perspective, this is a plus money play. So if we do roll with this, it might be a half or quarter unit play, but Jason Tatum, yes, double-double. I also don't mind just taking his over rebounds as well. It's 8.5. I don't mind him getting double-digit rebounds today. Even if you looked at his 9.5 rebounds, it's plus 130. So that may be even a better play than double-double, but you never know if he's going to go off for assists, right? So you kind of help yourself out if you go double-double. But he's had 4 straight double-doubles against the Cavs. He's going to play well against his buddy Donovan Mitchell, right? But his last 4 games here, dating back to November 2022, we have 26-12, 41-11, 25-10, 27-11. So Jason Tatum shows up in these games, especially on the glass here. Do I want to say that, Cleveland's a bad rebounding team? Not necessarily, but they are allowing, about the 12th most rebounds over the last 7 games to the power forward position, the position that Tatum's going to start at. So a little flyer there. From an injury perspective, I probably should have led with this. Kristaps and Jaylen Brown are questionable. It still almost doesn't, I still think the Celtics team is just doing something crazy right now. So it doesn't impact my spread pick that much. Kristaps didn't play last game. Maybe he comes back. Jaylen Brown did. So we'll see if those guys play. But if they play, yeah, full speed ahead with the Celtics. All right, guys, before we continue on with the slate, allow me to talk to you about the Daily Grind Fantasy tools, and specifically what we're looking at here, the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. First, if you guys do want access to this, make sure to check out the link in the pinned comment and use code GUYBOSTON when setting up your account and signing up. You'll get 25% off. But what this does is it goes through all of the Prize Picks lines or, Underdog, Parlay Play, Chalkboard, any of these apps that you may have. It goes through all of the lines that they offer and then looks at what sports books are offering for odds. And if you know one thing about Prize Picks, they don't take into account odds, right? So why would you put plus money plays into your Prize Pick slips when you could be putting these -152 plays into your Prize Pick slips? You already know that they're favored on sports books to hit, right? So start using sports books odds and make some money over on Prize Picks. This tool is so simple and easy to do that. What's great is you can literally go up here to plus EV plays and say, okay, I want to make a 5-man, right? It's going to give you applicable plays and eligible plays that, based on the odds sportsbooks are offering, have an edge throwing into a 5-man slip. Same thing with a 6-man, so on and so forth, guys. But if you just want to use it to confirm your pick, say you're thinking, okay, how's Bradley Beal's value today, right? Bradley Beal over on Prize Picks. Type in and you can see, okay, well, actually, if we're taking this on Prize Picks, it's probably best to look at his points plus rebounds under, or his points, rebounds, and assists under. As we go down, you could see that percent chance to hit start to dwindle off. So go ahead and check it out, guys. Again, that link is in the pinned comment. You got to use the code GUYBOSTON to get the discount as well. So make sure to go ahead and check that out. Now, let's jump back into these games. All right, we got Brooklyn taking on Philadelphia in this spot. I do think that this could be a decent game, but I'm just not seeing the value of the Nets here, coming off of a game yesterday. Yes, obviously, a back-to-back situation for them, but just overall, I think that the Sixers, even without Embiid and some of the injuries that the Sixers are dealing with in the first place too, right? I just still think that they're a better team, with Hield, Harris, Maxey being healthy, that's almost all they need. Kyle Lowry giving them some valuable-ish minutes as well. And just throwing the fact that the Nets on the season here in back-to-back situations, 25% of their games they've covered in. 75% of the games they have not covered in. That's a little damning to me. So I'm going to lean towards the Sixers here, minus the points in this spot. Sixers coming off that huge win as 7-point dogs against Dallas, right? So you got to love that. And this was a Brooklyn team yesterday that was, 10-point favorites against Memphis, and they lose that game outright. Yeah, not sitting all that well with me there. Ben Simmons is questionable, as is Cam Thomas. Getting both of those guys back would be a slight boost, but again, I'm trusting the Sixers to come out of here with the dub. Now, the total sitting at 218. You look at these two teams in terms of what they've done to this line recently, and they've been trending in the under direction. If this were the line of the last 10 Brooklyn games, actually say the last 7 Brooklyn games, right, they would have covered the under in 6 of those. If they were to look at the line for the the Sixers here, the last 10, they would have covered the under in 6 of those as well. So I do think that we can lean slightly towards the under here, but it's not my favorite spot. I'd rather Sixers on the spread here. In terms of player props, it's a play that we've been cashing and been giving out. Buddy Hield over 3.5 assists. That's minus 120 on FanDuel right now. Compared to other sportsbooks, minus 148 on Caesars, minus 150 on MGM, minus 145 on DraftKings. If we can get that at minus 120, there is some serious value there. From a rationale, he's hit that in 9 out of his last 10. He's played now 10 games as a Philadelphia 76er, only 1 game in which he didn't hit that in. And going up against the Nets will allow the 7th most assists to the small forward position. That definitely has a chance of being a final play. Keep an eye on the pinned comment. All right, Heat taking on the Pistons. This really isn't my favorite game of the slate, so we can move through it kind of quickly. I don't mind taking a peek at the Heat here, minus the points. I don't think it becomes a final play, though. And then I'd also consider looking at the under. I think that this game gets slowed down a decent amount. Now, one player prop, and it's also not a player prop that I'm loving, but potentially looking at Isaiah Stewart over 10.5 points. Is it because he has a good matchup? Definitely not. But this is a plus money play if you look at the odds over on DraftKings right now. On FanDuel, it's minus 110. Caesars minus 105. You can get for plus money on DraftKings right now for over 10.5 points. It's kind of the only thing that's making me say, okay, well, that has some value to it. Does that become a final play? Odds are not. Again, this isn't my favorite spot in this game, but I do think that, this is probably a Heat spot as well as an under spot overall. But, don't hold me to it if you're thinking the opposite. Actually, real quick, I should have mentioned this when we were talking about the Daily Grind Optimizer, but it is Tuesday, so you know what that means over on PrizePicks, most likely having some discounted plays with Taco Tuesday. If you are not signed up for PrizePicks, make sure to go check it out. It's literally a perfect time to do so because you'll get some discounts today, as well as using that optimizer to help capitalize on those discounts. PrizePicks is super fun, and I know it's been pulled out of some states or adjusted in some states, so that's unfortunate, but even if you are in a state where it's been adjusted, you throw 2 for 2 in and get that right, you're still going to 3 times your money, right? So not everything is changing with it. So go ahead and check out PrizePicks. I'm eager to see how they adapt and change to some of these new changes that they're going through. So check it out, guys. You can get 100% of your first deposit matched with the link in the pinned comment. I've been on PrizePicks pretty much since the damn start, and this app is so fun. If you've been on it, you know that's the truth as well. Go check it out, guys. Link in the pinned comment. You throw in $25, $50, $100, they're going to double your deposit. You'll have 2 times as much as you put into play with that link in the pinned comment. Go ahead and check it out. But anyways, back to the games here. New York taking on the Hawks. This is an interesting one to me here. So Trae Young is a no-go, and Jalen Brunson is questionable in this one. So if I were to say, and by the way, we got burned by the Hawks a couple of games in a row, right, against the Nets. I think we only made a final play in one of those games, but still, I thought that they were going to win at least one of those. They get pretty much beaten and bruised in both of them in their home and home with them. Or actually, it was just 2 home games with the Nets. New York coming off of a win against Cleveland, but this comes down to Brunson for me. So no Trae Young on the Atlanta side. Brunson's questionable. If Brunson plays, I like the -3. I've seen 3 on some sportsbooks. I know most have it at 3.5. If he doesn't play, then I probably end up looking at the Hawks in a bounce back situation in terms of what they've had to deal with. And they've got beaten by the Knicks in 3 straight games. Those at home, 2 of those coming this season. So the Hawks definitely have some bad blood for this Knicks team, dating back to the Trae Young quiet down Madison Square Garden playoff series. But if Brunson doesn't play, I like the Hawks. If he does, I like the Knicks. Total-wise, it's also going to come down to that. If I think the Knicks are going to win, I actually like the under. If I think the Hawks win, I like them pushing the pace and going over. So, Brunson, man, you got a lot riding on you in terms of this game here. From a player prop perspective, nothing jumps off the page to me. There's my tagline that people hate. I would consider taking a peek at Bogdan Bogdanovic's over in assists, as well as his potential over for 2.5 3-pointers made. No Trae Young here. We got to remember that. He's going to get more assist opportunities as well as shooting opportunities, with that being the case. I do slightly worry about the Knicks defense, but they've struggled against the above the break 3 plenty as of late over the last 10 games. So it's not necessarily that worrisome of a spot, even though the Knicks are kind of historically a good defense. Their perimeter defense hasn't really been there recently. That's kind of why I like his 3s as well. Next up, we have the Raptors taking on the Pelicans. Raptors getting a decent amount of points here, 8.5 points. Total sitting at 228.5. But I'm going to lean towards the Pelicans. They're the better team in the first place, and no Scotty Barnes, no Jakob Poeltl for the Raptors makes it a very tough sort of inside game to win here, I would say. So I'm going to lean towards the Pelicans minus 8.5. The fact that it is 8.5 probably keeps me off of it, just being completely honest. In terms of a total, I don't mind taking a peek at the under 228. Raptors had been playing with some decent pace, but again, they lose a 20 plus point guy per night in Scotty Barnes. So I think that this one gets slowed down a little bit here. Give me the under. In terms of player props, I got a couple that I am eyeing. First and foremost, it's probably my favorite player prop in the spot. I'm going to be taking a peek at Jonas Valanciunas over 11.5 points. He did it in 2 of his last 3 games against the Raptors. Let's not forget that this is an ex-Raptor, spent a lot of time as a Raptor. Maybe there's a little bit of like, you know what, like let's show our old team what we got type of a thing. And again, no Pirtle and no Barnes, so you're losing your 4 and 5 there. Their new down low presence at the 5 is Kelly Olynyk. Okay, and then at the 4 is RJ Barrett. So technically speaking, any of these in the paint battles, in terms of scoring these points, should be won by the Pelicans. I also don't mind taking a peek at Zion over 22.5 points. The problem is he's been just hit or miss to this number damn near all season long, so it's a little questionable. But both those guys scoring in the paint, I'd rank 1, I like Valanciunas, and then 2, even Zion there as well. So yeah, keep an eye on the pin comment, because I do think that there's a few player props that I really could see coming out of this game. Another one, to be completely honest, where do I love Brandon Ingram's spots, right? When he gets to a mid-range opportunity. This is a Toronto team that also struggles at defending the mid-range, and Brandon Ingram, last 4 games, he's cashed over 21.5 points. So, and in 2 games against the Raptors. So literally all 3 of the studs, or 3 of the 4 studs for the Pelicans, I literally could see a play coming out. So keep an eye on the pin comment. One of those is sure to be a final play. Honestly, if I would have to rank them, to be honest, Valanciunas, Ingram, and Zion, just because Zion seems like he's been a little bit too inconsistent. All right, we got the Rockets taking on the Spurs. Right now, Wembanyama is on the injury report, so that is obviously a huge kind of thing to note. If Wembanyama plays, I could see someone making an argument for San Antonio here. I'm still going to lean towards the Rockets, even though I don't love betting the Rockets and don't love this team's compromisation altogether. They are at home, and that is sort of the trustworthy spot to bet them. They've covered in 66% of games at home here. And they're coming off that win against Phoenix. San Antonio's coming off of 2 straight wins, so I'll give them the credit there. But you know what? They're on the road. I don't really love this spot for them. So I'll lean towards the Rockets. In terms of player props here, honestly, I don't really love anything in this game. We only have a few Rockets player props out right now, too, so I haven't even been able to, because we're up early, haven't been able to, humble brag there, haven't been able to even dig into the player props in this spot, because not many of them are offered, just with some of the injuries, I guess, that we are waiting on here with Wembanyama and whatnot. So we'll update you guys in the pin comment, but I wouldn't hold your breath. I don't think many player props are coming out of this game for me today. All right, we got Dallas taking on Indiana. I think that this might be a hot take, but I think that this is one of, if not maybe even the best game on today's slate here, in terms of what we can get from an entertainment factor of these games. So I like Dallas minus the 4.5 points in this spot. Last time these two teams played, Indiana beat them by 21 or something, 22, something like that. And it's been a pretty damn even matchup over the last 10 games, dating back like 4 or 5 years. So 5-5 straight up to these two teams, 5-5 against the spread, and the over-unders have been 5-5. That's crazy. Like, am I the only one that's crazy thinking that? If you guys think that's crazy, or if you made it this far into the video, go ahead and comment crazy in the comments, because the fact that, 10 meetings and dating back to, again, 2019, so 5 years, you literally have 5-5 straight up, 5-5 against the spread, and then over-under, 5 overs, 5 unders. That's crazy to me. Come on. But anyways, I do like Dallas in this kind of get-right spot here. Have they been playing the best basketball? No, but they just got pumped by the Celtics, understandable, and then the Sixers. They have to be coming home here being like, all right, and they were at home against the Sixers, but have to be at home here being like, all right, let's get right against an Indiana team that has lost 3 of their last 4 games, coming off a loss to San Antonio. I like the spot for Dallas a hell of a lot more. In terms of injuries here, Maxi Kleber's questionable, Derrick Jones Jr. questionable, and Luka Doncic questionable. Obviously, we want Luka to play if we are going to be rolling with this pick, but if he does, I also like a player prop with Luka here. Over 3.5 threes for plus 115. The sexy and appealing part of this pick is the plus money to me. He's hit this in 3 of his last 5 games. Last time they played, which was when they got beat. He hit 4 threes on how many attempts? I believe it was like only 7 or 8 attempts, which as of late, Luka has been taking a lot more than that, averaging, I think it's like almost 10 attempts per game in his last 10. So if he has more volume, I think he cashes this for plus 115 odds. Love to see that. That's over on FanDuel as of right now. But again, he's got to play to be able to do it. Now, in terms of a total, no reason why I would look at the under. To take the over, I'd have to have some balls because that is a high number. I'll lean towards the over, but I don't know if that truly becomes a final play. I'm much more likely to if Luka plays, pull the trigger on Mavs minus the 4.5, as well as Luka over 3.5 threes. Also, don't mind Kyrie Irving's numbers, whether it's threes or points tonight, but his point sign is really inflated. 27.5 is tough to pull trigger on when you have a guy like Luka who can dominate the points scored for the team. So I like Kyrie's spot. But if Luka plays, it's something I probably don't end up rolling with. All right, Denver laying 9 points at home, taking on the Suns. This Suns team, I feel like they should just be in timeout. So I'm going to lean towards Denver until the Suns show me any sort of oomph at all. So give me Denver minus the 9 points here. They've won 6 straight games, covered in 5 of those 6. I also like the under in this spot. I think Denver slows this game down, and we've seen, the Suns play to a super under type basketball as well. They've catched 8 unders in their last 10. So give me the under as well. Now, from a player prop perspective, another 3-point line, which I love betting those. I don't know why you guys hate on me for it, but I like Michael Porter Jr. over 2.5 threes here. This is a Suns team that's not going to necessarily defend the perimeter all that well, but in the corner, they struggle from it, and I do think that Michael Porter Jr. is going to get a couple corner looks to knock down, 2 or 3 threes just from the corner alone here. I like the value. He's hit this in his last 10 games. He's hit this in just 5 of them, but 3 of his last 5, and he's made 9 threes over his last 2 games. So don't really hate it. Does it become a final play? It's not my most confident thing I've thrown at you today. But guys, that's going to wrap for today's show. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button as well. Tons of stuff coming. I don't want to tease it too much because I'm going to make some videos kind of explaining things, but we do have more content coming, which is super cool I'll save it for a little bit of an announcement, okay? But we'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Hate to tease you like that, but we got to do it. We'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.